think this is a rerun. The rerun. You know, back in the day.
Well, I mean, I do look about the same. You know, you've lost
Hey,
more
you know,
hair.
I don't understand. I've lost more hair.
I do, you know.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you know, it is.
No, I'm sitting there at the house today, and this commercial flops up on TV. I've been listening to Ask Your Neighbor like I do every day, and this commercial flops up. I see a picture of me and you there, but there's a lot of difference. I'm dressed up in a shirt and tie and a coat, and there you are with an old raggedy old shirt on. Ain't nothing.
That was that coat you rented.
Yes, that coat. I went down to the funeral home and borrowed it.
You didn't take it back yet?
No, I took it back.
Well, it's been
John will be calling me, man.
Good to be back. Good to be back. And you know, thanks to the guys for filling in for us for a while, and we're going to be here for a little while. And man, it's great. It's great. Good to see you, though, buddy.
Good to see you too, buddy. I'm glad to see you.
Your ornery is all get out
Yeah.
still, but still, it's good to see you. We come back at a perfect time. State tournament's going on.
Yeah.
And basketball, baseball started, softball started. Things are great.
Can't complain.
Can't complain. Can't complain.
You know, we're right at the end of college basketball here. You know, maybe a little trouble with Tennessee. What do you think?
Here we go. You've been on 40 seconds. 40 seconds, and you're already on Tennessee.
I just asked, do you think there's a little trouble at Tennessee? There's a theory going around about Barnes. He can coach him to play defense, but he can't coach him to play offense. Do you think that's true? That's just a thought.
I think.
Listen, I think Barnes might be one of the best basketball coaches Tennessee's had in a while, since Don DeVoe.
But see,
they're on him. Here's the critics on him right now. He's known for turning out good point guards.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't have one now.
Don't have one now. They're on him right now because he's got a freshman that's sitting on the bench.
Yep.
That did they not develop this year? Did they misjudge? Is he not able to play in the SEC?
But I thought he had.
He's played sparingly. Sparingly mean 30 seconds maybe.
But I thought one of the things was Vescovi. He thought he could prove him at that point guard. So, but that's not. He's not a point guard.
No, he's not.
He needs to be over. But I don't know. I just think the injuries have hurt some, and when they're bad, they're really bad. Not just often. Just they can't throw one in the ocean. I think a couple games, they were in ball games, came down and took some bad shots, take them out of the ball game. But I think to start the tournament, they ought to get to the semis anyway.
I tell you what I'm afraid of, okay, and you're going to say I'm being negative, and I'm really not, because I like Coach Barnes. I think he's probably been one of the, like I said, the better coaches. I think they're one and done in the SEC tournament.
Do you?
And in the NCAA, I won't be shocked if they're one and done there, too.
Wow.
I hope, listen, wow. I hope.
What seed do you think they are going into the tournament?
I don't think they're a 3 seed. I think they wind up being anywhere from a 4 to a 5.
Okay.
They've been projected all year long as high as a 2.
As a 1, then
a
they came to
1
2.
at times, now a 2, and then here recently a 3.
Yeah.
I just think coming down the stretch, and I think they'll look at the injury to Ziegler and say Tennessee's not a 3 seed, they're a 4 seed or a 5 seed, and
especially
Tennessee goes
if they go 1 and done in the SEC tournament.
Especially if they go 1 and done. I hope I'm wrong, because that means they're going to lose to either South Carolina or Ole Miss. And before I walked out of the house, I was watching them play, and neither one of them could hit the right side of 37-31. It was horrible in the first few minutes of the game.
And Ole Miss got a new coach.
Ole Miss has got they ain't got a new coach. They got a fill-in coach, temporary coach. So the old guy got fired at Texas as the leading candidate for the job.
Is that
right?
His
name? Is it Beard? Is that his name?
Yeah, they got some domestic trouble.
But got it dropped. He's supposed to be the leading candidate. I don't know whether he is or not. I just think without a point guard, I think we saw Tennessee play Saturday at Auburn with no point guard, and I think that's what we got the rest of the year. I think it's troublesome to me.
Well, and you know, at this time of year, when the big dance starts, they say that's why the Big East lots of times has so much success, because it's good guard play. If you don't have guard play, you can't advance.
That's speaking of the Big East. It makes me think of Syracuse and Jim Boeheim. He coached his last basketball game today. As they were coming off the floor, he got beat in the ACC tournament. He's officially retired after 47 years of being the Syracuse basketball coach.
That probably had something to do with him finally getting to coach his son.
I would assume he coached. I think he coached both of them at the end.
So yes,
probably so.
Well, there's a he had some great success and not so many good years, and so it's 47 years is a long time to stick around any job, but especially college athletics.
It is. So to get back to what me and you and Brad were talking about, sitting at the door up there before the baseball show was over with, we was talking about high school basketball.
Yep.
The girls basketball tournament's going on right now, and there's not very many girls teams from around here other than maybe Bearden. Bearden goes down today. I think they were going in at 30-something, or 30-0, or 31-0, or something like
31,
that.
I think, yeah.
Something like that, 30-something and 0, and they go down and get beat on a last-second shot today in the first round. Two teams, I think both of them.
That should have been a championship game.
Well,
That
yeah,
should
not
have
only
been
that,
separate
that
brackets.
shouldn't have been a 10
Separate
o'clock.
brackets,
That
yeah.
shouldn't have been a 10 o'clock game today.
No.
That should have been
Well, if Fulton gets a 10 o'clock game on the boys'
yeah,
side.
that's crazy too. But Jody's played at all times down there. But you just go and play. But still, yeah.
Well, not only is it 10 o'clock, it's you're on a different time zone too.
You are.
That's 11 o'clock when you get down there.
But something, you try to keep up with the sports around here. There's not really been a dominant girls team around here this year. That's just really
Other than Bearden.
other than Bearden, and that I will say that's local, but it's really not for us out here.
I think
there's not been a team out of Rome County.
York Institute's got a girls
Yeah.
team. In fact, I think their boys and girls both are in the state tournament.
So you didn't hear much about Oak Ridge this year?
No.
I couldn't really tell you what their girl. There wasn't a lot of.
No.
When I say there wasn't a lot of noise, I mean there wasn't a lot of noise saying Oak Ridge is playing for, a district championship, a region championship, or a berth in the sub-state. You didn't hear any of that, so I don't know if they played in anything or not. Harriman lost in the sub-state game.
As
Okay.
I came in tonight, and I look and the Oak Ridge baseball coach is here. They weren't expecting him to be here tonight. They should be talking basketball,
It
right?
should be.
I mean, typically,
Oak Ridge boys.
Typically, they're still gonna be- they're gonna be in this.
I think Oak Ridge boys got put out during the region.
yeah,
I think.
Carnes.
Carnes, I believe.
Yeah,
And then Carnes goes down later on to whoever
Got upset by Central.
Got up-
Set that up.
set that up, right? So anyway, we just look. You just look locally and see, because I know in the past we've had Harriman boys that have been pretty
Right,
good.
right.
In the last couple of years, Kingston boys have been pretty good. Didn't hear much about the Kingston boys this year.
Well, Joe Lane had a good season. I think he
Yeah.
won about 20. He was 22-4 or something like that.
Well, didn't hear much in the district.
But not
Didn't
from
hear
the
much
district.
in the region.
Now,
about-
Alcoa's a
Alcoa.
local team on the boys' side.
On the boys' side, you heard a lot about.
Fulton's on the boys' side.
Heard a lot about this year more than you have in the past years. Austin East.
Austin East.
Austin East has made a slight.
Harriman boy coaching that.
Harriman boy coaching
Yeah,
AE.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Jody's got I tried
His
to get a
first
hold
year,
of,
right? That's his first
I
year.
tried to get a hold of Jody Dan. I couldn't get a hold of him. I wanted to. We was trying to talk to him. Maybe we might see if we can get a hold of him here in a minute. Making another trip. He's got basically the same group of kids that he had last year. He's got 3 kids, that's been with him. I think since they were freshmen.
Well, I was going to tell you. Remember,
So they're making- yeah.
we talked when he had those freshmen.
We did. We
and
talked about it.
and he was having trouble winning.
Yeah.
And we said, then guys, watch out, because when they become seniors,
Well, they're just juniors.
and it looked well, and so they're a year early, and it looks like they have a chance. It looks like a good bracket for them.
They competed last year
Yeah.
down there and had a chance to make a little noise, and didn't. But they're back again this year. Those 3 main core guys
Yeah.
are just juniors. 2 of them are the nephews to Jalen Steele. That was a Mississippi State, wound up at LMU and eventually at the end there, and played up there at LMU and finished up. But one of the best basketball players that I think I've ever seen play high school basketball. But they're kin to him. They're twins. They're really good ball players. And there's another kid, I do not know much about him other than he's a really good basketball player. So Jody's got he's got 3, really good basketball players, and he's got a little height with him too. So, which is unusual too. He usually doesn't have much height. Yeah. So,
Well, let's regress a little bit here.
All right, go ahead.
We've been gone. Let's talk a little bit about some things that have happened. We've got I noticed that we've got a young man that we followed at Cofield who's tearing it up at Eastern Kentucky, McKinney.
Right.
What a great job he's doing, and that there's a young man that could be playing on Sunday.
There's a young
You know,
man.
he's what, Brad? He's about 6'3", isn't he? So I mean,
Well-
he can sling the ball. It's a perfect offense for him. Great.
I might have been the only guy that thought this, but I thought there's a young man that could have played in the SEC. I swear. I don't think, and I'll tell you this about him. I'll say that he shouldn't have played on the offensive side of the ball. I thought he was better on the defensive side of the ball in high school. I just thought he was he was just a special athlete. But I thought he could have played. I thought he could have played in the SEC. I really do. I think he went on, and I think he proved that.
I guarantee
he could have played.
Vanderbilt could have used him. I guarantee you,
Yeah.
South Carolina probably could have used him some of those years. He's
You're-
better. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
And
You're
I hate,
exactly
and I
right.
hate to do that, but
You're exactly right.
But
And
he's
I'm honest with you. I don't know that he couldn't have played in Tennessee's offense this year, the run and gun like it
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
because he slung the ball around. That's just him.
the only thing
he's
is,
just too,
would he have been durable enough?
I don't
Would he have
know.
been durable enough to
I
take
don't,
some hits?
Yeah,
in the
yes,
SEC?
I think he could have.
Okay.
Yes.
Then he's in.
That's just me,
Then
yeah,
my
but
vote-
I'm the only one that I think thought.
My
Brad
vote-
probably thought that.
my
but
vote's in.
Brad didn't want him to get hurt because not only that, he was pretty good in basketball too. So Brad wanted him on the basketball floor, all-state basketball.
So we go there, and then we've seen the rise of Tennessee football since we've been off the air, and what a joy that's been to watch that program get back to respectability.
Yes.
I mean, that's just phenomenal. Then we go back and we see the young man that we interviewed as a high school senior, now playing wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals.
He sat right between me and you, right over there at the other place,
And-
we interviewed him after he won Mr. Football.
And his mom was in the audience
And his
then.
mom was there too,
And we knew then that who was in control.
I believe it was his first Mr. Football that he was with me and you.
It was.
His junior year, and then he came back. Yeah, and he
So,
got it again.
you know,
so
we've got
won it
that,
twice.
but the rise of football at UT, and not only the rise of football, but when Danny White come into town, and of course, it wasn't a risky hire for him probably because he'd been with Heupel for years, but some risk at a different level, but he's made the right hires and has Tennessee athletics in a great situation.
He does, but let me ask you a question. Do you think the football is a one-hit wonder? Do you think it will continue?
I think it will continue.
You think it will?
I think it will continue. And the reason I say that is because facility-wise, there's not going to be any stronger facilities in the conference. Recruiting-wise, he's all over it. He's getting the kids that he needs. The portal will help him, because he can pick up a defensive tackle or he can pick up a defensive secondary player and have instant credibility. So I think the only problem that I think they'll have there is, can they keep him? Can they keep him?
I think it's going to be Jeremy Pruitt.
And obviously, his alma mater, Oklahoma, had an opening this year, and
He stayed pretty
he
true
stayed,
here,
and he
though.
stayed,
He stayed
and he
here. I
stayed.
think he's a loyal. I think
So
he might be loyal right now.
With
Getting
Danny White as
Yeah.
his boss, he may say, "Hey, I know what I've got here. I don't know what I'm getting when I go to these other athletic directors." So that could be baseball program. I think you probably should go ahead and make reservations in Omaha this year. I don't think you have another fluke like you had last year because pitching-wise, he's probably as strong as any team in the country. He's probably got the number one pitcher in the country to start off on Friday nights with. I think if I didn't particularly care for the image that they portrayed last year, but that's him. That's him, and sometimes to be successful, the coach has to lay it out there, and the players have to buy into it, and you can't ask them to buy into just part of it, can you? You either buy in or you don't
all,
buy
you
in.
got to buy in none. But let me ask you think, though, that he could be another Bruce Pearl, though? He's already gotten a little trouble. Could there be more? Don't get me wrong.
It could
I
be.
like what he I like what he's doing. I like it baseball. Because if you just think about something, Tennessee basketball's back, Tennessee football's back, Tennessee baseball's back. Okay? So if you just look at those on the men's side, if you just look at those three main sports, Tennessee is back.
They're back, and they're putting
back
money in
with
the
that.
bank.
Right.
And it's astronomical what their media package. It was $32 million a couple of years ago, and it's much greater now with all the networks and everything going on. To me, the thing that I think you have to worry about now more than ever in college athletics is the NIL.
Like it or dislike it?
I dislike it. I think
it can change your season like that.
It can, but I think they would have been much better off to just to cross the board, give them $700, give them $1,000 a month, and everybody gets
wait a minute.
and go.
When I was arguing that with you, you wasn't for giving them any money. You didn't want them to have any money.
How come now all of a sudden you're going away? Your memory's
I'm
not
going,
that. No, your memory. No.
When I said, why don't the university just give them some money? No. We can't do it. Now that the NIL money's on the table, now you're saying let's just give them $1,000.
Well, they found the money. They found the money. They found the money because they've had the money all along.
And
the only thing.
I got a good memory when it comes to you.
No, you just make it up. No, you just make it up like you always have. But the only disadvantage to that is the rich get richer and the poor don't have any money to give $1,000.
You're exactly right. I could have stayed at home and not got abused if I didn't want to get abused.
Well, I'm not. There's not abuse. I mean, it's just the truth.
Okay, I could have stayed at the house.
It's just the truth.
I could have stayed at the house.
Do we need to take a break? Do we need to take a break?
We'll take a break here. Just a second. No, seriously. No, you was against that. You was against paying any money. We're talking about these kids.
Let me replay it.
Aaron Foster was talking about he went hungry. He went hungry over there.
Who?
When he went to the NFL. What's his name? I can't remember. The football player was running back at Houston.
There's never been a running back from Tennessee worth his grain of salt that went hungry anywhere.
Well, he did. He said he did. He said he did. I can't think of his name. Is it Foster?
Aaron Foster.
Aaron Foster. Yeah. He goes said he went. There's nights he went to bed hungry. He didn't have the money to go out and buy a Big Mac.
He didn't have to. And when's the last time anybody over there bought a Big Mac? When they can eat roast beef? No. When they eat roast beef at the training table?
Maybe he didn't get there in time, Barry.
Oh, good gosh. That stays open 24/7.
I guess. Oh. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back just in a minute here on the Locker Room Chat.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans, So buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. I don't know where we found him tonight. I don't even know where they found me tonight, but somehow they drug both of us back in here.
I'll tell you what.
So all I got to say is Brad was hurting
We're
to
going
get
to
me
have to
and
do
you
something to
back.
this gray on
Nah, it's just part of it. Hey, let's just talk about, we talk.
Let's talk about let's talk.
What about it?
Well, I mean,
it's great. If you had any hair on your head, it'd be great too. You old bald-headed thing. Hey, you balder than me. We're trying to put a little bush on top of that hair and make it fuzz on top.
Because I shine it, baby.
I shine it, baby. Golly.
Well, it's good to see you, though.
It is good to see you, too. I
buddy.
talk to you. You act like you ain't talk to me in years.
You know this.
You talk to me all the time. You bug the heck out of me.
I mean, this golden microphone.
Yeah. It is golden. That is right. It is golden at that.
It is.
But since you have been gone, and I have been here on Friday nights, son,
Yep.
there's a lot of things have changed. Gaddis, he's no longer here. Well, he's here, but he's no longer the football coach.
In fact, the baseball coach was on when I came in. So David introduced me to him. I said, Coach, just do me one favor. He said, what's that? I said, don't mention a seat on your bus to Queener. David said, you're right. He said, Queener always wanted to ride the bus to the state championship game.
Went one time, I didn't get to go. I'd have paid for the seat.
I tried to tell you all that time you weren't getting on no bus.
Well, I thought I was.
Coach Gaddis is smarter than that.
He told me I could go, though.
He's smarter
Let
than
me
that.
tell you what he did, though. He did do a show with us.
Good.
Last year.
Good.
He did.
Oh, I'm sure he's having a good time now.
He
Relax
is.
and
He is.
no pressure.
Yeah, he had a good time
Only
with
thing
me.
is, his coach has got to win, or it'll be the athletic director's fault, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't last long down here. Got a new one, so we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. So, and when back in the day when we were doing the live football, we were going to Anderson County a lot, and they were chasing the state championship up there, and never could get over the hump. They finally got over the hump this past year and
Did they
won
invite
one.
you to ride the bus?
No, I didn't get invited there neither.
I think about Coach Gillum and Coach Terry a lot, and how we. I remember when the Price boys were coaching up there, and Brad and I, and maybe you were standing on the sidelines when Anderson County came back and won a football game up there, and that sort of started our thing with Anderson County. They came back and beat Fulton, and from a good 21 points or something
Playoff
like that.
game?
Yeah. And so that sort of started. And then I remember Coach Terry pulling a hamstring muscle, trying to outrun his kickoff man.
Down the sideline. Pulled up lame.
Pulled up lame. And, Coach Webb now, Coach Webb's the longest standing high school football coach in the state, 150 wins. And you've taught him how to throw the football now. So
Is he throwing it fine?
Well, I mean, more than he did when we first started doing those
He hit
games.
his head in the locker room or something.
But
he's not the same guy.
He's there, Coach Allen, and we talked about the longevity of coaching staffs together, what that means, and there's a prime example of that. Moved to single A, and so there's a lot of things sports wise have changed.
Clinton's got a new coach. Coach Keith is a really good guy. He's sort of got the program turned around a little bit.
Been there 3 years?
Yeah, 3, I believe. I believe that's right. This will be his coming up fourth year, I think. Yeah. Coming up, should have a pretty good football team this year. Won't be shocked if he doesn't make the playoffs this year. I think everybody's expecting him to make the playoffs.
When did we start doing live football games? 90, 96, 97? 95?
I started in 96.
Okay. So people want to talk about TV stations doing live high school football games, and they can't believe it when I say, yeah, we've been doing that. I think we were the first ones east of the Mississippi, right? That did a live high school football game on Friday night. And who would have ever thought that from that, back when we it was a hope and a prayer when Brad probably had, we had a truck, we had an RV, baby, BBB RV, and the thing was full of monitors and stuff, and time Brad throw 2 or 3 cameras out the door and this and that, we'd finally get on and then get scrouched, and we'd come a long way, and now the picture on his Friday night football games is as good as anybody around.
Sure is.
And if you watch Thursday night rivalry games, they'll mention Brad Jones's name 2 or 3 times on that for the help that he's given them doing something. That's how far it's come.
Come a long ways.
Come a long ways.
And the Friday night scoreboard, I don't know, it might be one of the longest standing running Friday night football shows.
Oh, sure. Oh yeah.
It might be one of the most longest standing running football shows on Friday night. That's pretty much high school football for 2 hours.
That's right.
Or an hour and a half anyway, and then a little late night college football at the end there. Not as much as it used to be.
As I come around by the lake almost every day, I think of our buddy. I think of our buddy old Richards.
Yeah, Mike.
And I meant to wear 2 gloves tonight in his honor.
He's something else.
He was something else. He was.
Sure was.
He was it. He was it.
Yeah. He loved calling in here on Friday night. Bet a ham.
Bet a ham on that? On his fishing show, hook them, jerk them when they bite.
Jerk when they bite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, hey. That's him. Call me.
Yeah. He's something else, man. He was something else, man. Playing golf with 2 gloves on and going fishing with 2 gloves on. And
he drove with 2 gloves.
He drove it, yeah.
And it wasn't a sports car.
Well, yeah, he did have a sports car for a little while.
Well, but I'm talking about when he was driving with 2 gloves, so he had no Subaru station wagon.
Subaru station wagon.
But the things that it's been a good journey, buddy. It's been we were able to keep up with high school sports and coaches and the friendships with the coaches and I was down at E2 Sports several months ago and they started talking about coaches and I could reel off names and schools with those coaches that have been there and have gone on and other places and I guess one of my favorite places was Cofield because of Coach Henry.
I love Coach Henry.
Henry
man, he was a good guy.
He was a Coach. Thanks for all you've done. Thanks for all you've done for us and for high school sports and especially for that community because Coach Chris had already set that community up with football and with athletics from the little kids all the way up, and so Coach Henry just had a natural obsession there with Cofield, and it was great. But we've had some dandies, buddy.
We have. We've been there, done that.
We've had some.
We've been there, done that. We sure have. We sure have.
And of course, you following Fulton basketball like you did, and scorekeeper, and no wonder, how many controversies did you have keeping that score?
I didn't keep score. I just kept some stats.
Oh,
I did some stat stuff. I didn't keep no score.
Okay.
They'd have been a lot of we'd have won a lot more ball games.
I was going to say. There's a good reason.
There's a couple of state tournaments that we just come in second that we probably would have won. I've been keeping
well,
score.
not at the state level. Now they wouldn't let you be official.
I would have tried. I would have asked the guy, "Let me take your place." I would have tried to got a couple more gold balls over
But
it.
it's been, and then having, you always going to the Daytona 500. I thought about you on the Daytona 500.
And got to go the last 2 or 3 years, not only because of COVID and then being injured like I've been injured. So hopefully this coming next year now.
So is NASCAR going to make it?
Yeah, I think it will.
Will it?
I think it will. It's still, it's rebounded a little bit. Daytona 500 was sold out this year.
Yeah. Reduced price or full price?
It's the same price as it's always been. It's
didn't
not
have to,
went
they didn't
up.
Have to do anything.
They done all this remodeling 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and before me and my brother sat, I told him, I said, man, they're fixing to price me and you out of these seats, but that price has not changed. Didn't change again to re-up this year neither. Yeah. For next year, it's the same, so they've kept it about the same price, but It looks like just from this year, what's happened so far this year, that it's pretty
good.
The first three races have been pretty good races. So we'll see as it goes on what happens.
Well, then we're gonna fill in for a little while for Brad. But if you've got some youngsters that you want to get on the show, let us know. We're still all about the kids, and if you got a travel team or middle school team or whatever you want, bring them on up here. We get them on.
We've done that before.
We've done that before, buddy. We get them on, and
we get them on.
It's and getting back. I know we're all over the board, but we got so much to catch up on and stuff. Look for Harriman girls softball team to be tough this year.
Harriman girls
Chris
softball.
Mason, Chris Mason's done a really good job down there, and I would expect them to make a pretty good run this year.
Now I heard the baseball coach, and I only caught part of it because I'm getting ready to leave, and he was talking about some things. Have they changed the form?
Which baseball?
Oak Ridge baseball.
Oak Ridge, okay.
He was talking about the district format and some things. Have they changed the playoffs? Is it going to be? Is it
Sub-state and known as series.
Is sub-state known as series now instead of just a?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes it a little bit.
It's like the championship game.
So.
Is a series.
Is a series?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. That'll put a little bit more.
It will.
That'll put a little bit more juice into it.
And speaking of baseball, how about the changes in Major League Baseball? Have you been keeping up with that?
Pitch clock. I mean, if you go to
the base, they're going to increase the size of the base.
Yeah, the bases are going to be a little bit bigger. That has to be just a safety thing.
Well, it's time. They were saying that the AAA teams they've put these in this year they're down to 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, the pitch clock was in AA last year.
Right. But now they also have.
See that.
They also have you can't be out of the batter's box. There's a time limit there. There's a time limit on runners on first base, so you can't throw to first base.
Can't wait. You can't get the clock down so far and throw to first, and the clock start back over here for some penalties.
So there's some changes.
The bases being bigger though, is that a safety thing?
They keep calling it a safety thing, but it's probably gonna increase the number of stolen bases that you have. Because how many times have you seen a really close play at second base? Well, now if the base is extended, you're going to get there a little faster.
Right. So at first base, it should keep maybe from the first baseman getting stepped on over there.
Right.
Should, I would think, maybe keeps the shortstop from getting tumbled at second on a double play. Should.
I'm not sure
that it will happen, but I don't see no problem in the pitch clock myself because I think it's once you know it's in effect.
I may go back to umpiring if they put a clock on high school, because that was the killer, man. Those games last 3 hours.
Once you go, I don't know if you went to
Yeah,
and that's 7 innings.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been to a Smokies game in a while, but last year, and you go once you see the pitch clock and you know the pitch clock's going, and you watch it maybe for a couple batters just to see how close they get. Then from that point on, you really don't pay any more attention to it because it's just part of the game now.
Smokies, you mentioned the Smokies. How about their new stadium?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
You good with it?
Yeah, I'll probably go a little bit more if it's downtown Knoxville instead of driving all the way to Sevierville.
Well, and the thing about it was that the good thing about it being for Knoxville is Randy Boyd stepped up to the plate and although it's going to be good for him and his family financially, took a lot of pressure off the politicians when he said any overruns I've got you covered. And he just come up with another $7 million the other day. So I believe it will be the transfusion that downtown Knoxville needed, especially that area. When you take those old dilapidated buildings down and put you some condos and apartments and businesses and everything, because concerts are going to be huge there too.
Yes.
It won't just be baseball.
Well, you take Smokies Ballpark out of it. You have to take, if you're from down on this end, and the drive up there is the problem that gets you.
Right.
In the afternoon traffic, getting up there is the problem. So I don't know what it'll be like downtown Knoxville.
But they wanted, originally, remember when they went to Sevierville, they were going to put it out by Turkey Creek. And you can imagine what would happen at Turkey Creek. I mean, you can't get through there now. So you had another ball game night to that thing, and that would have been a huge mess. But kudos to Randy Boyd and his family for stepping up and making that happen for downtown Knoxville. It's on the go anyway, and so that's a good thing.
Man, the cost on that thing go. Woo.
Well, it started out at about $88 million. It's about 115 now, something like that.
Yeah, man, that's jump big time. Yeah. I mean, wow, big time jump.
So it's that's going to be a good thing for Knoxville. But Haslam's buying the Milwaukee Bucks 25%.
Yep, I seen that. They're trying to buy the Predators. I don't know where that stands right now. Well, they were trying to.
And Bill's trying to buy trying to buy the soccer team there in
soccer
Nashville
team in Nashville too.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard much on the Predator deal other than he was mentioning he was interested in trying. I don't know if it's controlling interest. I don't know what the deal is. I know he's just trying to buy. He was trying to get some stake in the Predators in Nashville.
Can the Titans can they make it back to respectability? New general manager. I see where he's trying to trade Derrick Henry.
Well, you know the life of a running back in the NFL.
Well, I know it, but boy,
he's a beast, man.
You give him away, and what have you got?
Yeah, but if you keep him another year or you keep him another 2 years, what have you got to trade? Do you trade him now? Are you looking at it? Are you looking at it as a general manager? What can I get for him?
Well, I'd say you're right.
And you're looking at him and saying, this year's draft, there's a pretty good class of running back. I don't think you're going to find anybody that's going to be Derrick Henry.
No.
But you look at what can I get? Can we get a second round for him? Can we get some third rounds for him?
You're just a knee injury away, aren't you?
Yeah, or just old age.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just a knee injury.
Knee injury away. Yeah, you're right.
Because of age.
Because of age. So you're right. You are. So I think you have to look at it. I think they run it more like instead of us wanting somebody just to stay and play, they look at it more like this is a business, and we got to continue to push the business forward. And the forward thing is to trade him and cut him.
You're probably right.
But I don't want them. I don't want that to happen. No. I think if they do lose Henry, I think they've lost a lot because they've already let a couple offensive linemen go, and maybe a defensive player, and it's based on money, man. There's too much money.
Too much money.
Here's the problem. There's too much money based on one position.
Yeah.
Okay? Is Aaron Rodgers worth $50-some million? Tell me what Aaron Rodgers has done for Green Bay in the last 2 years. He's absolutely done nothing. He's not won but one Super Bowl. What's he done? To be this year.
He's certainly no Peyton.
To be this year. We certainly know Eli neither. He certainly know Eli neither.
Eli's having a hard time keeping up with Peyton.
He's 1-2, but let's get off.
He's one helmet stick away.
That's all right.
If he hadn't had that stick on their helmet, he wouldn't have won one either.
That's all right. But really, is a quarterback worth $50 million a year?
Well, if you don't have one, what have you got?
Nothing. I don't guess.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Is 50? I think Aaron Rodgers' tag is $53 million this year. If he stays and plays for Green Bay, he's guaranteed 50 plus.
So the Jets will probably offer more than that, though, because the Jets need.
I don't know. They flew everybody and their brother up there, and the Pope with him, I guess, to try to convince him to get a trade to come to let him. Try to see if they could acquire him to come to New York. Yeah. I just don't. And then when you get him, you get a head case because he's a head case.
Yeah.
Is he going to be enough into it that he's going to come to mini camps? He's going to work with everybody. That's what they got on him about this year.
Yeah,
he complained about his receiver.
Yeah, you don't know that.
You don't know that, so you don't know. You don't know what you're. You don't know what you're. You don't know what you're.
It's good to see Randall Cobb still playing though.
Yeah, I think he's done, maybe.
Is he?
Yeah, I think when you saw him and Rodgers walk off the field last year, they walked off together. I think that's probably...
You read something into that.
I read something into that. That's Randall Cobb. I read it. They're both through. I think we might hear Aaron Rodgers say, I've retired. I'm retired. That's David's theory. But even though New York did fly there yesterday and... Yeah. Flew everybody up from the head coach, general manager, owner, offensive coordinator, everybody went there to try to convince him to
we better get another
break. Let's jump out and take another commercial. We'll be right back.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
The life of every child is precious. If you care for a child or teenager with a disability and have limited income and resources, they may qualify for monthly cash payments through the Supplemental Security Income Program, or SSI. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI Kids to learn more. That's ssa.gov/SSI Kids. Message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades, locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers, a member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. What was we talking about?
So we've talked about so much I can't. See, that's my point. So you've done all this stuff and you can't remember what we talked about before break. There's my point. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Well, I remember how you was how you was on my side about running Philip Former off. I remember that. Stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, you was too.
No, and you're still on this Eli Manning kick. I can tell that already.
I don't know Eli Manning kick.
Well, I mean,
all I've ever said, if Peyton wants to be as good as Eli, he needs to win another.
Well,
he needs to win another Super Bowl. They both have got 2 now.
I think he surpassed that.
No, he didn't surpass it. He's got 2, and his brother's got 2.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's even up, buddy.
Eli knows he's been running and chasing him from that time on. He'll never catch him.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes down. You know, we'll see.
But anyway, it's always good to see you, buddy. Always good to see you. We got to get you some that gray though. Look at that. Look at that showing up on that screen there. Look at that.
Look
at that gray. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll get Sweetie Pie some of that stuff to put on there. Grecian gray or whatever.
Grecian formula. God almighty. I don't know why I agreed to this. I'm just being honest. When you called me a week ago, I should have told you no.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't tell me.
That's
no.
what I told my wife. I couldn't tell him no.
You couldn't tell me.
I couldn't tell him no.
We haven't had a lot of coaches in high school changeovers, have we? Haven't had many at all.
Well, Oak Ridge, got us retired and then hired, and then that scenario, yes. No, Clinton's coach, yes.
That's been 3 years though, but
Wartburg, I guess, has went through a couple. Have they went through a couple?
This one's on this.
It's been second.
Don't have many.
No, not really.
Especially not our way.
The guy at Midway left though, didn't he?
Treadway. Treadway left, yeah.
But he's back.
He's back on the staff.
He's an assistant.
He just gave up the head coach.
Okay.
I think he's the offensive coordinator or something.
Too much paperwork, I guess.
I think he was probably trying to get a little free time with his daughter and stuff, and so
I understand that.
That head coach is, you're getting a lot more meetings and a lot more community stuff.
A lot more responsibilities.
Yeah,
Period. There's a whole lot more responsibilities.
So I think that's what it was. But we've been fortunate down our way. And in the area as a whole. Our buddy down at Ray County had a tough year last year. Mark Pemberton was he had a rough year last year.
I'm surprised he's still there, just to be honest with you. I'm surprised they didn't run him off.
No, they're not going to run him off. I mean, he's had too many good years down there. But he
think-
came to Oak Ridge. He came to Oak Ridge in the playoffs.
I just think the offense he runs is so far outdated, it's not even funny. It's not the offense
But it's not the offense that he used to have either. I mean, it's a
might not be,
combination.
but
It's a combination.
It's so far outdated that it's not. I don't see how he's getting kids to come play for him because kids are wanting to play in the spread offense where you throw the ball around a lot. That's what Anderson County does. That's what Clinton does. Oak Ridge done it a little bit last year.
But it's good. He'll be back. He'll be back. A lot of controversy about how many classes do we need in football. We got 4 in basketball. Do we need 4? Do we need 6? What do we need?
In basketball
or in football?
Well, in
we
football,
got 4 in basketball.
And we talked to Jody about this last year. Now he was here with us a couple times last year, and we talked about that last year. And I think Jody might have, and I'm not putting words in. This is me. This is what I took from the conversation. I think he thought it was going to go back to 5.
5.
And it didn't. And not that it surprised him that it didn't, but they just wound up at 6 for a couple more years.
You know, with six, we've had a lot of teams with 2 wins, right? One region win, and you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, when you got these regions, only got 4 teams in. Yeah.
So,
and when they realign these regions up, yes.
You've got a single A, the one that Rockwood's in now. They went to 8 teams.
Yeah.
In the region, and you still only got 4 in Region 1.
So you take that team, you take that region that's got 8. It makes it a little easier because you don't have to get as many.
Well, you got scheduled. You don't have as much trouble scheduling.
You don't have as much trouble scheduling,
but it waters down. And if you went to 4 classes, you probably would take less teams from each district, so you could cut down on that. Some travel would probably be a problem for some districts. So, but they got to do something. They got to.
I don't know. You got a grandson that plays on the private side. What do you think about? Do you think the private side? What do you think about that?
Well, the same thing happened on the private side. I mean, you've got one division that only has 8 teams in it, and then you've got another division, that's got a bunch of teams in it. So they've done the same thing. I mean, and they're not. There's not as many private schools coming into that thing, so they're pretty much stuck with what they've got. But you take and one of those divisions only had 4. You had like Brentwood Academy, McCauley. So there's a lot of travel. A lot of travel in that. So
what grade your grandson in now?
He'll be a senior this year.
Oh, he's gonna be a senior.
Be a senior.
God Almighty.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm getting old.
Well, it is, and the thing there is when they moved up, they'd won the state championship in the single A 3 years in a row. So they moved up, and it's sort of like Cofield and Midway have been at the bottom of single A. And then you move them up, and then they're the bottom of 2A, and they're not even at the top of 1A. So that's what happened. I think they were 7 over the limit, which I would have fired the athletic director if I'd been just seven people. If I could find 7 people to stay home for a week.
Stay home for a couple of weeks while the count's going on here. Before we don't enroll after the count's been turned in.
But it's always going to be a problem. I don't know that they could ever get it straight, but there's got to be. because with more schools consolidating too, it will help the cause. So you're going to take some of those smaller schools out and combine them and make a larger.
So if we take the smaller schools out and combine them, will that not eventually, like 1A, run 1A football out of business?
Probably. You'll end up probably with more 3 and 4As and a lesser amount. Of course, what will happen then is with the lesser amount of single A's and double A's, you're going to have more travel there. You know, because you're going to have probably, you'd be lucky to have 14 districts then.
Well, you know, travel's an issue, and then, you know, I'm sort of surprised high school football is really still hanging on popularity the way it is, considering how there's so much talk about concussions and stuff. You know, it's still pretty popular around here, though. It's still the Friday night. It's still the Friday night fix for everybody. I mean, high school football still is a Friday night fix.
It still is the controlling factor in whether you consolidate or not.
True.
For a lot of communities. So pickleball. You're a pickleball player. Have you played any pickleball?
No, I've never played no pickleball.
Buddy, pickleball is it. That's where it's at.
Okay. If you tell me that, I believe.
Pickleball is the fastest growing sport. They say by 2030 there'll be 30 million pickleball players.
You don't
get online.
Hold on a minute. Are you going to have a show about pickleball?
We could. We could.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. The night you have it, just let me know. I won't be here. I'll be out of town. Okay.
What do you mean you'll be out of town?
I'll be out of town.
Well, you going? Wait. What's the deal?
I'll be out of town. I won't be here.
I mean, you don't want to learn a new sport?
No, I don't need to know nothing about pickleball.
Just stay out of the kitchen.
Stay out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, whatever that means, I'll stay out of the kitchen. But I won't be here. I just won't be here, and I'll be gone. I'll be traveling.
Oh, we have a good pickleball tournament.
You know,
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Okay. Now, I do know we've just turned a
tennis court
into a pickleball court.
That's right.
I don't know how many we got. I know one at least.
Right.
We about it last week.
Harriman Recreation Center has turned. They've given us 2 pickleball courts there.
It is a big thing. Yeah, I agree with you.
Kingston's got a couple pickleball courts outside. It's huge. It's huge, and it's a sport anybody can play. Anybody can play. You know, it's and the kitchen is at 7 foot from the net where you can't stand there and slam it. You got to get 7 feet back, but you can still slam it.
You know, we talked about him a while ago, but Mike Richardson would have been a good pickleball player.
No, he wouldn't. No, he couldn't.
Yeah, he would have.
No, he was
anybody could have played.
Too slow.
He wouldn't. Them 2 gloves on.
Yeah, he was too
He's
slow.
either hand. He could have been at that
paddle. You can play either hand.
He could.
Well, we do that. I mean, we can do that.
And Mike Richardson would have been fine for pickleball.
But he's too slow. You know, he's too slow. He was too slow.
Man, he just a little
he would have had to overanalyze it.
Overanalyze.
Yeah, you can't overanalyze.
He wasn't overanalyzing.
You got to get to the ball.
He just wanted to go put a ham on it.
But I'm so dead blame old that the first time I played, I got tangled up in my feet and busted my elbow. People laughing.
Yeah, let's play pickleball.
Yeah, ladies laughing. Said you can't get hurt. I went down first, had a lady break her ankle running into the wall. One broke her wrist. I said, well, wait a minute.
No, I didn't give anything.
But it's a good
Lord
sport.
Have mercy.
It's a good sport.
It's a great sport to get hurt in.
Go
play pickleball. It ain't lit up. That's it's fine. If they're going to light up, they'll be right there.
Well,
483-8112. I don't know how much time we got left, but we got about 5 minutes. We got plenty of time. Somebody can call if you want to call. If you're a pickleball player, come talk to Barry about it. He'd be more than glad to talk to you. I don't know nothing about it. I have seen people play.
Get online.
I'm not getting online.
They can even show you how to play pickleball.
I'm not playing pickleball.
You know, so it's
okay. I might come watch you play pickleball because
good.
it will be a treat. I would
Oh,
imagine.
son, it's fun.
Brad, you need to find. Let's find out.
Fun.
Hey, when you playing again?
What's the day? Tomorrow? Thursday? Thursday morning?
Yeah, I want to go be the color guy for that. There goes Barry in the wall. Wait a minute. There's an injury. Call the paramedics on the field.
On
the court,
Thursday morning, in the morning, buddy.
Thursday morning.
11:30.
You know how we did you once before and you jumping? We brought a camera crew.
I don't remember anybody doing anything.
Cofield.
No.
Yeah, we brought a camera crew down there to catch you up, and we showed up down there. It was something else. You were meek that day.
Me?
You calmed down. We'd heard a lot about you. We wanted to go down and see a professional baseball.
I went to a baseball game at UT last year with Coach Lau. And, we got to talking about some of those baseball games and things. And I said, well, who's your favorite ump?
He didn't say you, did he?
Oh, right off the bat.
Oh, boy.
Right off
He
the bat.
did not.
Right off the bat.
I think Brad was keeping score or something down there, and I showed up. He told me he was going to be down there, and I showed up, stood in the woods, and watched him down there at Cofield.
No, you stood in the woods because you was afraid to come out. That's what's wrong.
Not down at Cofield. I wasn't
afraid to come out.
I was afraid you'd want to make an example out of somebody throw me out.
Well, I was going to. I was. That was the game plan.
Get him. He's out of here.
I was going to say we're not going to play another. We're not throwing another pitch till you get rid of this guy.
You wouldn't. You'd be way down the rope. That wouldn't be the first time I got thrown out.
Well, I knew.
It wouldn't be the last.
I know, and that's why we didn't do it.
That's why you didn't. I appreciate you didn't.
What the heck? Why would we do that? Why would we do that?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But okay, so now we're gonna get caught up on everything tonight. So next week we can talk about some basketball, some high school basketball. We'll talk about the SEC.
Well, we'll have the SEC basketball tournament. Will be over with. High school.
I think what we ought to do is
we play Ole Miss tomorrow.
I think what we ought to do is get us the space down at down at Bridgestone next week and just shove Feinstein away.
Okay. Paul Fine.
Yeah.
I watched Paul Feinbaum. I watched him today.
What do you think?
A little bit. Yeah, we could.
Just move him aside. We need to get Bob from Cofield, John from Clinton, Peter from Rockwood. We need to dress this thing up a little bit when they call in, like he does.
Oh, we could do that.
Huh? Now, you don't know if we can do that or not.
Brad can.
Well, okay, yeah.
Brad knows how to do it. I don't. If I say we can do it, he can do it.
Well, you're right.
I have confidence.
He just sits there like we do. I mean, he just answering them. How much money he's making during that.
And the same thing goes on with him every day. Goes on here on Friday nights when people are calling in because they're passionate about their high school football team.
Right.
And that's basically. Football is a year-round thing with him. He does do everything else in between, and they do talk about it.
Right.
But football's the driver of that show, just like around here on Friday nights. Football's the driver of the show here on Friday nights, and will be for the.
Hey, before we run out of time, we need to pay tribute to the young man that called in on talk radio all the time, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah.
Passed away at 48 or something like that, and I always enjoyed him calling in because he asked some really good questions. I mean, he was on top of his game.
It's not a funny story, but I thought it was ironic that the guy told he run into Roger at the store, and said Roger at the store didn't have the stutter that he had calling in on the radio.
I saw that.
You see that? I thought that was.
He
was. I guess he must have the pressure.
I can understand that because I have to watch myself.
I can understand.
Those lights do something to you when they turn your head around.
Yeah, those lights do something too.
They do.
Man, I'm glad we got to come back tonight. We'll see if we can get here next week.
It's been fun. We'll see if. Hope we didn't get Brad kicked off the air.
No, listen. If I didn't get him kicked off last year, he won't get kicked off. He don't have to worry about it.
Good.
Because I've let him rip last year a couple times. Yeah, just a couple.
I can't believe that.
Hey, folks, we'll be back here next week at 8 o'clock. We'll follow the Coach's Show, the Oak Ridge Baseball Coach's Show. We'll be right back here on the Locker Room Chat. David Quinn and Ron Berry. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.